Hello, and welcome to the Lighthouse Brand Builders podcast. I'm Peter Wilkin, and I'm here to help you build differentiated, enduring brands and thriving businesses. It's not really a podcast. It's more a series of strategic insights, stories, and secrets of success from a lifetime's career in advertising, brand consulting, and change management. The thread that binds them is brand-centered management, the trademark brand building process and philosophy I developed with my partners at the brand company over 20 years ago, that's since been embraced by thousands of brand professionals and some of the world's most iconic brands. The 4Ds process and brand DNAs have become well known in brand strategy circles. The focus here is practical advice you can apply straight away to your business. It gives you a glimpse inside the Lighthouse Brand Strategy Academy, our online coaching program, where we aim to democratize effective brand strategy. So come with me, take a step inside the virtual lighthouse. Welcome.
We were, if you're making waves in as an agency in any country, you attract the interest of the political parties because, they want to get the messages out. And, in the UK, Saatchi's were doing work for the Conservatives and things like that. I think it was against Labour. Labour isn't working. If you remember, fantastic campaigns. They had images of Tony Blair as the devil, really kind of risky things. And we, as a dominant, kind of creative agency, were operating like that at quite a high level with some of the government officers. Did we talk about Ogilvy Philippines and the mayor of McCarthy and things like that?
No, not the mayor, no.
Okay.
Sounds like more politics.
It was more politics. We had, you talked about how politics intersects with commerce and with the advertising world, and it's sometimes very difficult to separate. So in the Philippines, we did an amazing campaign for this huge modern development plot of land called Fort Bonifacio, which was just outside the main area of Makati, and it was a challenger to one of the big established property developing firms, Ayala, there. And it was a magnificent grand plan of a kind of utopian community with big areas and tracts of green land and amazing old aged trees in tree-lined, beautiful wide boulevards and thoroughfares with food malls, shopping malls, a mix of commerce but mainly residential areas looking out over the harbors. And it was extremely ambitious and at that time also very high tech. And they were already talking about clean energy dependence and core based heating in these large 60 tower buildings, solar panels and smart glass. 20 years ago we were talking about this, and this was all in a rolled out plan called Fort Bonifacio, and we created this image of what we called the city of Fort Bonifacio, so a city in the city, if you like. And it was very successful, and it helped, raise the capital for the development of these large, ambitious buildings and residential towers and things, as well as making kind of pre-sales and they could begin to see it happening. And it was so successful that the mayor of Makati was concerned that he was losing constituent members and would lose power control in a political shift of political boundaries. Let's just say that he was a man with a very tough upbringing who'd come up from the streets and was somebody who you did not want to mess with. He just didn't want to get on the wrong side of.
Right.
So it wasn't great news for us when we got through the grapevine in a very direct message that he wasn't happy with the consequence of this very successful campaign, of which our clients were extremely happy with because it was being so successful. And we ended up having, veiled death threats. It was a scary time, and some not so thinly veiled. And we called him in and we had a meeting with him in the agency and basically listened to, his concerns, which from his perspective were quite legitimate. One was labeling and repositioning, unintentional, slightly repositioning of his area as not as modern and developed as the new area that we were creating. And all's well that ends well, because we ended up really quite getting on with this guy and having quite a good laugh and basically saying, look, most of this campaign is done. It's over. It's not going to repeat anyway. But if you like the work we've done for them, why don't you hire us to do some work for you? Kind of thing. Which we never really did get into, to be honest. But it was a way of kind of calming things down. So yes, there are unseen consequences for some of the actions that you do, and with no ill intent ever intended, people can interpret things in a very different way. So yeah, that's you asked for some political stories.
Yeah, and that was the Philippines. Was that the early 2000s or was that earlier?
That was in the mid 1990s, 1994, 95, 6, something. Yep. And well, it is very much a dirty game, politics, and some very noble, well-meaning, good people in very difficult systems, and some not so very good, noble people exploiting those very poor systems. So I always found politics very difficult to deal with, and I've since done campaigns or worked with campaigns for some great people like our own mayor here, Ken Sim in Vancouver. Great guys, long-term, lifetime resident with the real interests of the city and its people at heart, I know. But I've seen what a struggle it is for even really good, well-centered, focused individuals with smarts to make positive change, because the vested interest in keeping things as they are amongst a few or several is very strong and typically works against progress and change. So yeah, it's a difficult area, and especially when you're an ad agency that goes way beyond political allegiances, or should do. You don't necessarily want to nail your colors to the mast, because the world can change very, very rapidly. And, if you get labeled the agency for one particular party and that party is deposed, your fortunes can go down the Swanee very, very quickly. Right, so, yeah, it's that said, people will hear me say, stand up for your beliefs, and certain agency heads and people who've got independence and the power to be able to do that can follow their values in the way in which they feel is appropriate and right, and that's how it should be.
Thank you for listening to the Lighthouse Brand Builders podcast. If you found this helpful and want to know more, please visit my website at peterwilkin.com. That's Wilkin with an E at the end. You'll find more free resources, instructional videos, and links there. If you're a CEO or a business owner looking to build your brand, or a brand strategist looking to level up your skills, check out the CBO Masterclass in the Lighthouse Brand Strategy Academy, where you'll be guided through a comprehensive, stepwise process to develop your unique brand DNA and learn the skills to become a certified Chief Brand Officer. If you have any brand or strategy related questions you'd like answered, you can ask them in the showcase notes below. I'll do my best to address them. Thank you, and see you next time.